Call me Ishmael. Some years ago, never mind how long precisely, having little or no money in my purse and nothing particular to interest me on shore, I thought I would sail about a little and see the watery part of the world. It is a way I have of driving off the spleen and regulating the circulation. Whenever I find myself growing grim about the mouth, whenever it is damp, drizzly November in my soul, whenever I find myself involuntarily pausing before coffin warehouses and bringing up the rear of every funeral I meet, and especially whenever my hypos get such an upper hand of me that it requires a strong moral principle to prevent me from deliberately stepping into the street and methodically knocking people's hats off. Then, I count it high time to get to sea as soon as I can. That is my substitute for piston and ball. With a philosophical flourish, Cato throws himself upon his sword. I quietly take to the ship. There is nothing surprising in this. If they but knew it, almost all men in their degree, some time or other, cherish very nearly the same feelings towards the ocean as me. There now is your insular city of the Manhattoes, belted round by wharfs as Indian isles, by coral reefs. Commerce surrounds it with her surf. Right and left, the streets take you waterward. Its extreme downtown is the Battery, where that noble mole is washed by waves and cooled by breezes, which a few hours previous were out of sight of land. Look at the crowds of water gazers there. Circumambulate the city of a dreamy Sabbath afternoon. Go from Corlear's Hook to Cointes Slip, and from hence by Whitehall northward. What do you see? Posted like silent sentinels all around the town. Stand thousands upon thousands of mortal men fixed in ocean reveries. Some leaning against the spiles, some seated upon their pierheads, some looking over the bulwarks of ships from China, some high aloft in the rigging, as if striving to get a better still seaward peep. But all of these are landsmen, of weekdays pent up in the lath and plaster, tied to counters, nailed to benches, clinched to desks. And then is this? Are the green fields gone? What do they hear? But look! Here comes more crowds, pacing straight for the water and seemingly bound for a dive. Strange. Nothing will content them but the extremest limits of the land. Loitering under the shady lee of yonder warehouses will not suffice. No, they must get just as nigh the water as they possibly can without falling in. And there they stand, miles of them, leagues. Inlanders all, they come from lanes and alleys, streets and avenues, north, east, south, west. Here they all unite. Tell me, does the magnetic virtue of the needless of the compasses of all those ships attract them there hither? Once more. Say you are in the country, in some land high of lakes. Take almost any path you please, and 10 to it one carries you down in a dale, and leaves you there by a pool in the stream. There is magic in it. Let the most absent-minded of men be plunged into his deepest reveries. Stand that man on his legs, set his feet a-going, and he will infallibly lead you to water, if water there be in all that region. Should you ever be athirst in the great American desert, try this experiment. If your caravan happens to be supplied with a metaphysical professor, yes, as everyone knows, meditation and water are wedded forever. But here is an artist who desires to paint you in the dreamiest, shadiest, quietest, and most enchanting bit of romantic landscape in all the valley of the Saco. What is the chief element he employs? There stand his trees, each with a hollow trunk as of a hermit and a crucifix within. And here sleeps a meadow, and there sleeps his cattle, and up from yonder cottage goes a sleepy smoke. Deep into the distant woodland winds a mazy way, reaching to overlapping spurs of mountains, bathed in their hillside blue. But though the picture thus lies truth, and though the pine tree shakers sighs like leaves upon a shepherd's heed, yet all were vain, unless the shepherd's eye were fixed upon the magic stream before him. Go visit the prairies in June, flowing scores and scores of miles you wade knee-deep amongst the tiger lilies. But there's the one charm wanting. Water. There is not a drop of water there. Were Niagara but a cataract of sand, would you travel your thousands miles to see it? Why did the poor poet of Tennessee, upon receiving 2 handfuls of silver, deliberate whether to buy him a coat, which he sadly needed, or to invest his money in a pedestrian trip to Rockaway Beach? Why is almost every single robust, healthy boy with a robust, healthy soul in him, at some time or other, crazy go to sea? Why upon your first voyage as a passenger did you feel yourself such a mystical vibration when first told you that your ships were now out of sight of land? Why did the old Persians hold the sea holy? Why did the Greeks give it a separate deity, and his own brother of Jove? Surely this is all not without meaning, and still deeper the story of that story of Narcissus, and still deeper the meaning of that story of Narcissus, who, because he could not grasp the tormenting, mild image he saw in the fountain, plunged it into it and was drowned. But that same image we see ourselves in all rivers and oceans. It is the image of the ungraspable phantom of life. And this is the key to it all.